corpse training. And until you've done it, it can be hard to understand why people get so passionate about it and why they think it's so important. And the other day, one of my students was telling me she was at the range and she was talking to people and they said, yeah, we're here to learn how to defend ourselves with our pistols. And then she'd watch in frustration for an hour as they just tried to drill progressively smaller groups into paper targets. And I said, yeah, I totally get that. I understand why you're frustrated, right? But most people would be like, oh, I don't get it. Isn't that what you're supposed to do? Aren't you supposed to go out and learn how to shoot straight? And the answer to that is yes, it is. But it's just a very small subset of the skills you need. We need to understand shooting is a subset of the task that we're actually trying to learn, and that is, you know, personal defense, or even gunfighting in particular. I'm not even talking about using other tools or empty hands. And you know, most people who, when they decide to go learn how to defend themselves with a pistol, will go out and learn how to shoot, and then how to shoot better from a two-handed stationary position. And then maybe they'll read some blogs or listen to some podcasts. But they never really see the whole picture. They never see the fight, that big part of what we're trying to do, learn how to defend ourselves, to fight, right? And so I tried to do an analogy to something that everybody understands pretty well, and that's driving, right? You know, if we were going to look at, you know, what makes up our driving skill, I broke it down into 7 components. You know, freeway driving, driving fast and straight, right? It's a skill. In and around the city, you know, bumper to bumper traffic, this kind of stuff. Mountain areas, it's different, right? You have to, you know how to take turns not too fast, when it's okay to pass. Then off-road, winter driving, you know, slippery surface, there's things you got to know what to do. You know, you lose traction, this kind of stuff. And then this is a biggie, parking, right? I mean, you got to know how to park, right? How to put gas in the car, service it, keep it running, and then finally, you know, navigation, just knowing how to get around, you know, use that GPS or dare we say it, learn how to read a map, you know. And you guys know, because you drive all the time, you got to have some skill in pretty much all the stuff to be, you know, a safe, competent driver year-round, right? But imagine if the only driver's training you had ever gotten was having someone take you out onto the freeway in one of those cars with 2 steering wheels and then go, okay, you have it. And then you're driving straight and they're like, oh, that's good. You're driving nice and straight down the road. And, being fast is important. We got to get there fast, right? And then they gave you your driver's license one day and they said, you're good. You are a competent freeway driver, right? Would that driver be prepared for, you know, actually the day-to-day task of driving and getting around? The answer is no, not at all, right? And that's the way people who have done force-on-force training have sort of a whole shift in their worldview, and they start to understand, aha, you know, there's much more than just this stand and deliver shooting thing. I really need to understand, you know, what if the person is so close they can grab my gun? What if they have grabbed my gun? You know, what if we're already struggling? What if they've got me in a hold-up situation? You know, what if we're on the ground? What if we're around cars? You know, what if we're in a building, a house? You know, there's much more to it. And where you get into trouble is if you have a gap. In other words, an area where you don't have a clue what to do in this particular situation. It's a lot like the driver. You know, if he doesn't have a clue how to park a car, you know, he's going to smash it up the first time he tries, probably, right? So we want to have no gaps. We need to train in a broad spectrum of activities and not focus and drill down too deep into one. That's what a key aspect of a live training is, and I hope you can understand a little bit better today why we train the way we do. Stay alive.